Welcome to the Take 148 podcast, produced by 148 Films. Join us as we explore video production, creative storytelling, and the real stories behind the lens.
About to get real good.
Malachi, welcome to the Take 148 podcast.
Thanks for having me.
At 148 Studios. It's on the TV there. So we've been trying to get this recording nailed down for a while.
Few months?
Yeah, a few months.
Yeah.
And then ironically, at the beginning of the month, so as we're recording this, it's the end of May, 2025. At basically the 1st of May, you finally came on full time, right?
May 5th.
May 5th.
Cinco de
Malachi.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was so much fun. Piñata, et cetera, et cetera. So I know what you do, but for the sake of the audience listening and watching, so we've got you as a director of photography, but there's a whole lot of other things you do here on the team. So tell me what all it is that you do here at 148 Films.
Yeah, so since coming on, like I've done contract work since last August, I think. So this entailed a lot as far as like helping out with grip, gaffing, running cameras, things like that. I do a lot of our property tours, you know that. Property tours, what else? Let's see. Crap, I'm blanking already.
All right. Well, while you're thinking about that, explain for the audience that doesn't know industry terms, what does grip and gaff mean in layman's terms?
Yeah. So, I mean, grips, they're kind of like helping with rigging, with lights, a lot of different things, camera rigging, light rigging. If you're doing like a car mount on some high speed chase or something like that in a movie, it's typically going to be your grips helping out with that camera rig, bring some trussing, things like that on it.
We do that like once a week here at 148.
Oh yeah, we do that every single day.
So you're doing a lot of work side by side with Joseph, who we talked to on the podcast earlier, and we kind of got his background of DPing, director of photography, and like his vision. But obviously, his vision kind of guides the direction you take things from a lighting perspective, right?
It depends. It depends on like what Skip's vision for the project is,
Sure.
What we think it's going to look like. Typically, I try to start from like, okay, what's our frame? So that obviously comes from Joseph or Skip on that side of things. So I'm like, okay, where's our natural light coming in? What's our practical stuff that we can think to motivate the light? So it makes sense. It feels real. It's not like, oh, there's obviously like a light over here off scene, and
Sure.
that's pretty obvious. So that's what I'm trying to start from, at least.
Yeah. Well, it's critical because obviously you can look at a video pretty quickly, a frame on your TV, on your smartphone, whatever, and be like, either the lighting was done well or there's clearly artificial elements involved.
Exactly.
So there's a fine line there. So, all right. So before we get any deeper, I like to do what we call some pre-production research on Malachi. So here we go. Some rapid fire questions, some pre-pro. Here we go. So last full book you read, or audiobook if you're an audio guy.
Oh. Like last book I read. Completely. Okay.
Or listened to.
I want to say it's called the Mistborn series. Actually, that's the first book's name. I don't know, remember the actual trilogy's name, but it's by an author named Brandon Sanderson. But great book. I think I read it last summer. I haven't read a full book since then, so I've been slacking.
You've been adulting.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Favorite road trip gas station snack? You're on a long trip. You stop for gas. You need something to drink, something to eat. Like you're just going to get some fuel for the road. What are you grabbing?
Probably, I don't know if they're going to have it. There's these like drinks called buy drinks. They're like, they have like a coconut flavor. I don't know. They're good though.
Have you ever found them in a gas station?
Yeah, I used to mow yards, things like that. So I would, like a hot summer day, I would go and grab one of them. So they're pretty good.
What snack are you grabbing off the shelf?
Maybe a Kit Kat. I don't know.
There we go.
Something basic.
Coconut flavored drink and a Kit Kat.
Yeah.
That sounds like a slamming combo. I like it. All right. If you could have lunch with anyone, past or present, who would it be? What would the conversation look like?
Lunch, past or present?
Anyone in history.
I know this is like basic, but I'd probably choose somebody from the Bible.
Okay.
But I feel like if you go like something in the Old Testament, like something super old, it'd be pretty cool to talk to somebody that's like Moses or somebody that's like, they were there for a lot of like early times in the earth, things like that, or Noah. I don't know.
You
Somewhat
get
like
a
that.
you get a first person perspective that goes a lot deeper than all that we have recorded in the
Yeah.
Bible, which is limited, right? I mean, understandably,
Exactly.
that would be a wild conversation.
We also, you think like how the world would be back then compared to now. I mean,
Mm.
like I don't know what it would be like as far as like would creation look different? Would our surroundings, things like that. Obviously, pre-flood, that would look very different. So it'd just be cool to have conversations like that.
What would be your first question?
Oh, I don't know. I'd probably just ask them like, "Hey, what's different now compared to now? Like, what do you notice if they were here today?"
Sure.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Last question. What's something that people might be surprised to know about Malachi?
My name's not Malachi.
What?
That's my middle name, but first name's Ethan. So
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I learned something new today.
oh,
So, so did everybody else. Awesome. All right. So what I want to do is basically just like, let's take a journey, start at the beginning, talk about your creative origin story, and then basically we'll work up to where you are now and what you're doing here with the team.
Okay.
So take me back to your earliest memory of like Malachi the creative. Like, where do you think Malachi the creative started?
I know this is close to what we do here, but I would say it probably started with a little bit of Legos. So
Nice.
just kind of like imagination running wild. Me and my siblings, we would always read books. We would kind of create like this world that we'd play throughout. Like we loved watching Narnia, a bunch of different movies, and it's like so we would recreate scenes from that and kind of like create our own world. So I would do that with Legos too, kind of coming up with different sets that I would build on my own. I never originally I would build out the set that like the instructions told me to, but then later I would tear it apart and build whatever I want. So
Did you ever build the alternate sets? Like the alternate builds that they would sometimes include?
probably not, because at that point I'm like, I don't want to have to go and search for all the different pieces. So
You just went totally off script,
yeah,
totally from memory. I
exactly.
like it. All right.
And then from there it went to probably to like I'd create short films with friends, things like that. We'd create just VFX videos where we're like, yeah, let's try this out, and probably like YouTube skits that we would try and mimic and create. So that's where I think the earliest of it started.
So looking back, could you like put a pin on a moment in that kind of creative journey where you could say definitively like that video production and like that passion for video was rooted? Was it that moment when you started to imitate YouTube videos? Like, do you remember your first camera or like the first camera that you really just spent a lot of time on, even if it was maybe a phone or a point and shoot?
Yeah. So I think there was like a point where I was like, okay, I actually want to like create my own YouTube channel and try and start creating videos. So I created a couple with friends, and Peyton Carley or Peyton Ferguson, she helped a big part of that. She was friends with my sister, and she was doing YouTube at the time. Now she's onto a lot bigger things, but yeah. So she was a big part of that too, on kind of encouraging me in it and showing me like, yeah, this is what YouTube is. And then from there, I think 15, I bought my first, I guess, actual camera. It was a Sony a6300, and then I think that same year I shot my first wedding. So that was kind of like, okay, I'm actually doing this for as a job now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to give the audience perspective, you say you got your first camera, you shot your first wedding. What year was that?
2019, 2020.
So like right before COVID, as we're in this point in world history.
It was
COVID.
2020. Yeah.
2020.
So it was like summer of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like right in the thick of things.
Yep.
Okay. And is it safe to say you got bit by the bug? Like you were in and loving it, loving the camera?
I did love the camera, yeah. I'd from before that, I'd just use my iPhone or my friend's camera. So I definitely enjoyed having my own.
Does that camera still live in the Burch inventory?
I know I sold it like this year, actually. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you upgrade or
I did upgrade, yeah.
staying in the Sony line?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Sony isn't a word mentioned around here very often.
It's not. It's so sad.
Since we are, you know,
I like anything, so as long as,
especially in low light.
yeah.
Inside joke, folks. Inside joke. We love all camera types, mostly Canon and Red. But hey, there's room for Sony, maybe even a Nikon here or there. All right, so growing up, not that long ago, was there a summer job, a part-time job, something that you did that kind of, you know, taught you the importance of discipline and consistency and hard work, and, you know, what that looks like? What did that look like in your world?
Yeah, I would say probably baseball was a big part of that. I know it's not a job, but I mean, technically, I mean, you're there every day, you're practicing. My dad was a high school coach, so he also helped coach some of my teams, things like that. So him and a bunch of other coaches helped install that as far as like, you don't get time off as far as like, you know, when you're here, you're going to be working hard, you're going to be putting the work. And as far as like, let's say you see something left behind or something left out, and it's like, you don't just let that go. You know, you be the one to go pick that up first. You be the first one to do things right and things like that. So I think baseball definitely had a big part of it.
That's huge. I mean, team sports tends to do that to a lot of young people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of us as adults can look back on our childhood experiences, especially playing a team sport or playing any sport, but really the team environment definitely instills those characteristics. So was baseball your like first and only love, or did you play other sports growing up?
Pretty much only baseball. I mean, I played basketball when I was like 1 year when I was 5, but I don't count that. So yeah, pretty much only baseball.
Nice. So I learned from McKinley on the podcast earlier that she grew up playing soccer and golf at quite a competitive level. So just note to self, if we ever go to Top Golf as a team, you'll want McKinley on your side.
Team. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Her and Skip.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So we talked about like Lego as a foundation, the fact that you bought your first camera and then pretty quickly shot your first wedding. After shooting a wedding, did you feel like, hey, this is something I could do as a career? Or, you know, in the wedding world, it's like, I think there's two types of wedding videographers and photographers: those that shoot one and realize this is not for me in the long term, and those that are drawn to it and can see it as a career path long term. So, like, what was your, what were your feelings after shooting that first wedding?
After the first wedding, I think it's definitely like, hey, I could do this and make a career out of it. Especially with like, things have changed a little now compared to like 5 years ago, even with the wedding world. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy weddings still. Just on the wedding day, the big part that I don't like is editing, to be honest. It's just, I don't know, time consuming, obviously. But as far as like actually being there on the wedding day and filming, I enjoy being with the couple as far as getting to know them, getting to know the people around them. And usually it's on a beautiful day, typically. Obviously you have some days that aren't, but for the most part, the wedding venue is pretty, and it's just cool to be a part of. So
what do you consider the biggest challenge from operating a camera on a wedding day? Like when you show up to a venue and you batteries are charged, cards empty, you're ready to rock and roll. Like as you get into your workflow, like what's the biggest challenge for you?
I mean, I feel like typically there's not too many challenges with that side of things. I mean, I guess more so it'd just be like random things happening that are out of your control. Like, let's say like back then, like a camera overheats or something like that. That can be a big part of it. So
that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
As a longtime wedding photographer or photographer in general, I've shot a fair number of weddings. I've never had to worry about a camera overheating.
Nice.
I'm not taking 24 or 30 frames a second.
Yeah.
So
sure.
It's a different ball game. I know for me, having a battery go out at the worst moment of the day is always it's always a bad timing if the battery decides to be like, hey, I'm done. I only shot a wedding once with small cards and quickly learned that it's just easier to have a large card and not have to worry about shoot limit.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
those little logistical things.
Dual card slots.
Yeah, dual card slots for sure. All right, so going back to the beginning, we talked about kind of your roles here on the team, what you're bringing to the team, your specific focus. You and Skip talked a lot, before you came on part-time and then obviously before you came on full-time. So, what is the vision for your role and what do things look like for you in the next, 3 to 5, as the company grows? Like, what are your personal goals? What are those things that you're trying to bring to the table, to the team to add value?
Just kind of like growing the role itself. Cause obviously, the company's new. We don't really have obviously we have titles, but it's not like completely defined roles as far as like you might be stepping into some of what we're doing. Joseph's going to be stepping into like helping out with what Idris is dealing with. So like we all kind of help out in our different roles. But I think going forward, it's kind of really learning more about lighting, learning more about like a little more from Joseph and just stepping into DPing more on bigger sets, things like that. And from the people around us in the community, but also just growing from like a story perspective as far as like, hey, how do we make this scene, this frame contribute to the overall story that we're trying to tell with our partners or whatever it may be, and also just loving people on set. How does that look? Does that change our processes, things like that, or just the way we react on set, anything like that?
Yeah, so that's great. That's a great point. One of Skip's big things here is team culture.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about purpose-driven production. It's on the TVs out in the lobby here, but like it's something we live by. So, and you kind of alluded to loving people well. How we react to things on set, how we communicate, and kind of build that team mindset with our partners and with the other contractors we work with on set, because we have a core team here, but like we're hiring contractors from time to time to fill out the team and fit in roles on larger projects where it's necessary. So like kind of walk me through like what you love about the culture aspect here and like why it's so important to have that healthy team culture that we have at 148.
Yeah, I think you just like how the industry's been for the past years, and even like with your bigger feature films, things like that, it's pretty toxic typically as far as the work environment and even what they're producing as far as the content in it. So I think that's what varies Skip what he's trying to do here with 148. It's just we're trying to create a healthy environment that glorifies the Lord, and it's we're just basing it off of what's in Scripture as far as I'm gonna love you, you're gonna love me well, as far as we're gonna work through things. We might not always get along and agree about things, but it's like we're gonna work through it, and we know that we're here for a bigger purpose than let's say I'm like, oh, I really want this light over here, Joseph, and he's like, no, I want it over here, or something like that. Or maybe Joseph's like, I like this frame, but Skip has a different vision of mine. It's like that doesn't matter in the long run as far as like our preferences in that, just because that's not what we're really here for. It's like you can get caught up on the small things, which you see in production with I come from like a worship background as far as being in production at churches, things like that, helping, serving. So you can get caught up in that too there as well. So just like we're talking about purpose-driven production, remembering why we're here, the bigger picture. So I think that's been a big part of our culture.
Absolutely. What excites you the most about coming to work every day? Not a trick question. Lunch ventures, Miss Griffin's footlong hot dogs in
I think
Eastgate
just
Mall.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Ecology. No, I think the exciting part is like you never know what's going to happen in the studio as far as like Tuesday. Oh, my bad. Tuesday, it's like I came here, I thought it was just gonna be an office day, and then we get a call and it's like, oh nope, we're filming today. Or somebody might walk in the studio from Bricks and Minifigs, and I don't know, you just have a lot of fun things going on, and it's like you never know what's gonna happen when you walk through the doors. So
that's true. I mean, it's a pretty dynamic work environment. Like we've got our production schedule. We generally know what the week, the month is even going to look like. But you throw in the variable of having a rentable public studio space. You never really know who's going to come through the doors or who's going to call or text and stop by. Or I know occasionally, like we'll get a booking for a space, and it's like, hey, this is a great opportunity to make a new connection, build a new relationship.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
You know, we've had people come through the doors just a few months ago, and now like we're working closely and regularly with them. So
I guess I mean more. It's like you walk through the doors, and we have some people here that are doing cool things. You know, you're working on stuff with rentals, podcast studio. You got Idris working with companies, Joseph. So it's just you got a lot of cool things going on in the same place. So when you see those kind of merge and go come together, it's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So what would you say to someone a few years back from where you're at now? What kind of advice would you give them looking to get into the industry, into the video production space? You know, what's some good, wise Malachi words of wisdom?
I mean, obviously, I feel like I'm not at a place completely to like tell them like here's the direct path, or like here's the perfect way to like get to a point where you're a complete professional, like you're a master of your craft. But I would say honestly, just keep working at it, keep getting out and like shooting things like that. YouTube is a big resource. It's free. There's tons of things you can learn on it. And also just finding people that you can make connections with, learn from them, work with them, things like that. So
I love it. So I think we'll wrap with this. If you weren't behind the camera and your career path looked completely different, what do you think you would be doing instead?
Oh, I feel like there's so many things. I don't know. It'd definitely be something just creating something or helping run a business. Maybe like a clothing line or creating. I've talked about like making rings and things like that before.
Okay. Got a little entrepreneur in you?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right.
So I don't know what it would be, but something along those lines.
But you could learn everything from YouTube, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So my sister's an artist, and she's always loved doing like illustrations, things like that. She's great at doing like seascapes, landscapes. So I would probably also like if we're doing the clothing line or even like the jewelry making, like we'd probably do that together as far as like she's kind of creating these illustrations and we're just turning this into clothing or rings, things like that.
Nice.
This is something I've thought out. So
I can tell a little family collaboration.
Yeah.
I like it. That could really go places. And why not just, do a little side hustle?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Malachi, thanks for the time. Glad we could finally get this on the books. More than likely, I'll get you back in front of the mic. We'll take a deeper dive into the world of grip and gaff. And who knows, maybe we'll do a special episode for all of our Sony camera lovers out there.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.